I'm gonna erase you for taking what's mine. Brother, you best move if you're gonna hide. Oh, maybe you don't know when, but you know the reason why. Just save your breath, 'cause you know one time you dug a hole but never learned how. You trigger finger, better think about your future. You're getting twisted thinking I don't wanna shoot ya. I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm coming back to get what's mine. I'm sick of living with your little double faces. I'm getting itchy and so livid I can taste it. I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm swinging till I get what's mine. But I'm not going down. I'm not going down. I'll be the last man standing. The last man standing. You know I never bend and never break. I'm the heavyweight with all the answers. I'm the last man standing. I'm the last man standing. I drew a line into the sand 'cause I only plan to be the last man. The last man standing. Hesitating, wasting days I didn't give you. And it's too late to pray and say you didn't think through. We're toe to toe, you better make a move, 'cause I'm standing right in front of you. But I'm not going down. I'm not going down. I'll be the last man standing. The last man standing. You know I never bend, I never break. I'm the heavyweight with all the answers. I'm the last man standing.
Hello and good evening and welcome in. It's the final rounds of season 8 of the RTO GT3 League. We are live from Zandvoort this evening. It's the final one, as you can see on your screen, and as you can see after July 25th. It's a little bit wet out on the track for the guys right now. I hope you guys are settled in, ready to see some awesome action once again from the drivers that we have. 20 drivers on the grid for you this week, and yeah, looking to see how they get on. Welcome in Ninja, welcome in Subsea, good to see you guys. Thank you for your continued support, really do appreciate it. I'm hoping this next one's going to work straight away. It did for me earlier, and it has. Look at this, I'm getting to be a professional streamer after what, 4 years? I knew I'd get it right at some point. That's what I was hoping anyway. Okay, as you can see, Matt Whitburn leads the pros for this week, and for this season, sorry, and he's going to pretty much wrap it up as long as he doesn't have 2 DNFs. And Dan Watts manages to beat him on track, or get the 2 wins from the races tonight. I think Sigurd Resvik is looking to try and maybe close in on Dan. Sigurd Resvik very, very quick in the wet, as we know, but Timothy Judabal is not far away from him. So is he going to upset the RTO 1-2-3 at the top of the standings there, or can Ben Nergard have a couple of good results? Looked quick earlier on in practice that I saw. So we're looking to see if Ben can make his way up into the top 4, maybe make it 1, 2, 3, 4 for RTO. But Judabal, no slouch for Fear Nothing Moto, so be looking forward to seeing if he can disrupt the guys ahead of him. Silvers, all to play for. Excuse me, I am not very well. I'm actually going away on holiday in about 6 hours time, and I feel like absolute garbage. So bear with me. I might have to keep stopping and having a drink and coughing today. But I will try and keep it moving as much as you know, nice and smooth as much as we can. Christoph Holzer leading the silver title by 30 points from Rasmus Abelstead. Last week was his worst result, and Tom Solis not far back. There's 31 points covering the top 3 and 42 points covering the top 4. Fabian Wenger not here this week though, as far as I understand, so unfortunately he isn't in the title running for this season, but had an awesome performance in RTO in his first season, so we hope to see him back again next time out. But Christoph Holzer, a veteran of RTO, looking like he's going to take it home, but anything can happen on a very, very wet Zolder, tight and twisty track, so we'll have to keep an eye out on the title leaders in the silvers. In the AMs, Ben Munro from Daniel Solis, it's 14 points, that's all the difference is. 14 points. Ben Munro is ahead of Daniel Solis. Chris Wilson also just over 56 points back. So still plenty to play for. And the reason for that, guys and girls, I'll tell you this now, is because the scoring at RTO is heavy. You get 60 points for a win, 50 for a second, 42 for third. Okay, so if you don't have a good race and you drop down to third, fourth or fifth, and you're only a couple of points away, and you have that twice, that whole dynamic can change at the top of the standings. So it is imperative that all of these drivers are able to make sure that they get a very, very good race, nice and calm, no problems. Don't fight things you don't need to fight, because otherwise they're not going to make it to the end of the race in the position they need to make sure that they win the title for themselves. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye out for. In the wildcards, you've got Paul Cook. Been here ever since the start of the season, so thank you, Paul. Really appreciate you driving with us for the entire season. 320 points. This one looks pretty much wrapped up, barring a really bad result. David Greness joined us on round 3. Been absolutely dominant since he has, though. So I'm looking forward to seeing David Greness with his Fear Nothing Motors teammates next season, racing for the Silvers or Pros, depending on where they qualify. And yeah, look to see where they finish off next season. And Ike Tours is 142 points. Only had sort of 2 rounds, 3 races with us, but been very, very competitive in those races as well. So looking forward to seeing how he gets on this week. And yeah, we're about to go to the track for the starter quali. So we'll bring you the live action now, as you could hear just about in the background there. Hoping everything is going to go well. It has so far, so that's good. So the first ones out are the AMs and the wildcards. So just bear in mind that some of these white plates that you see out there are wildcards, not pros. So that way, you know, you're not going to get them too confused. But yes, some of the white plates that you see on your screen will be for the wildcards. So so there you go. So David Greness, as you know, as I just mentioned, is the wildcard, driving the Fear Nothing Motor Honda. Yeah, well, it says there's not going to be any rain, apparently. Interesting. Well, nothing has changed from the settings that was given in the practice server, so you never know. You never know. It's still got the same, absolute same settings. Absolutely the same settings. So, so yeah. By the way, Ninja, I'm having pictures sent to me every 2 minutes of your build. It's all built. Everything is ready. Everything is running. It looks actually really smart, actually. I think you're going to like it when you see it. So it's I'll send you some pictures over. So Ninja has been a part of, I just want to show you this. If I actually do this, it's probably going to be better. As you can see on the side of the RTO and on the bonnet, the PC Creations, that is the company that I own, and we create custom PCs designed around your specific needs rather than just on a price. That way you can get a computer that actually works for what you want it to do. And maybe not have to spend crazy amount of money to do it. And Ninja gave us an absolute headache, I'm not going to lie, of trying to get a Triple K2 PC for a specific amount, and we really had to work hard to find everything we needed. But from what I can see on the pictures so far and everything that we've got there, it's going to be absolutely incredible. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what you think on that, Ninja. I'll send you over the pictures later on. There may be a, you know, we're still expecting to send it out to when we said so. So there you go. Anyway, sidetracked. So, as you can see on his first flying lap, David Greness for Fear Nothing Moto in the Honda. He's the first one on the track, so we'll keep an eye out to see where he finishes up. I want to do one last thing. I am trying to make sure I keep talking, but you may find that things come a bit difficult for me at the moment. So, round turn number 8, Renault Bocht. I'm probably going to obliterate all these Netherlands corner names. Or, don't crucify me too much, guys. All right. Down the straight, it's nice and wet, as you can see, but there might be a dry line. If they say that the rain's going to stop in around about 5 minutes. Hello, Mr. Dreamman. Hello, Mr. Nergard. How you doing? Good luck to you guys today. Ben, you're going to cause an upset in the pros, I see. I'm expecting a good result from you, sir. What do you think you're going to be doing? So, first one across the line. 142.8 from David Grenes. That's a good little starter lap. The track will start drying out even if it doesn't stop raining, because the dry line will start appearing with 21 cars on the track. So you're going to see a dry line starting to appear. Paul Cook crosses the line for the AMs. For the wildcards, and does a great job. A 142.7, just pipping David Grenes. And then you've got Daniel Solis, who is the twin brother of Tom Solis in the McLaren, in P3 at the moment. 400ths of a second covering the top 3. The second and third, and now Paul Cook is, like obviously said, it's just taking it a 10th further up the road. A bit further back, Brian Bond in the Bentley. Is he in the P&O Cruises one? I was expecting him to be in that today because he has a very wet track. But looking forward to seeing what Mr. Bond can do. He's up on this lap, but so is his arch rival and nemesis, but he does run wide as Russ Brown. He was on a much better lap there. So it'd be interesting to see if he continues that. And Brian has lost just a little bit at the moment. Let me change. If we go session best relative, that's what you want to see. So now you can see the gaps. Mr. Links, are you in, sir? Welcome in. Let me know, and I will bring you into the right channel. We'll get you in. Get you in on board. So 5 minutes to go for the wildcards and AMs, and we're starting to see some of the lap times. Ben Munro still not managed to set a lap. He's actually behind Brian Bond at this time on track, and he's backing off. So this is obviously a prep lap. And I hear a wake up, so that means that Mr. McCord is ready to be pulled into the channel. Alright, so the stewards are here and live. Let me just fill Ryan in just a couple of little bits while you carry on. I'll bring you some onboard action to see how Ben Munro gets on this lap. Alright, so up through turn 4 and 5. And then it's the long right-hander, turn number 6. And in this, in the dry it's hard enough, so in the wet you've got to ease it over. Don't touch the inside curve because it will push you wide on exit. Cut the corner as much as you dare on the left-hand side, then keep it to the right. Again, don't touch the curve too much. It might bounce you a bit wide. Staying on, you can see there's a slight dark patch on the track. That's the drier line that you can see starting to form as these drivers start to clear the water on the surface. And Ben's doing a good little job here so far. Nice and steady, get a banker lap in. David Grenes has gone a bit further up the road. 42.365 now is the leader at the moment. I Choose is now popped in as well to a 142.925. And that's deep again. Ben Munro really struggling in the Porsche. Needs to have a good result today. He's going to have potential chance for another 2 laps. So he's still got chance, he's still got time to get another lap or 2 in. So, be interesting to see how he performs over the next couple of laps. We'll come back and catch him in a little bit. But this man is already on an absolute fire. David Greness, a 42.0 last time out, and he's up again. The track is ramping up for these drivers at the moment. And yeah, you're seeing these times start to tumble. Hops over the curb, keeps it to the left-hand side, drops down the hill. You can hear him just letting the car roll through the corner, picks the throttle up, runs it to the outside of the track, does touch the curb on the outside, doesn't really make any issues for the car, and he actually does cut that curbing on the inside of turn number 7. And then through Renault box number 8. Gets a little bit squirrely on the exit, but still up on his previous time. He's up 0.3 at the moment. So we'll see how he is able to improve. Now 0.4, he's definitely on a flyer. I tell you who else is on a hell of a lap. Ike Chews crosses the line, a 42.1. Get in there, Mr. Chews. Great lap. Great lap. And I think that's him saying, I'll take that one, and that'll do. Paul Cook is on another lap. He was up, but he's just lost that 10th that he was up, so he needs to find a bit more pace. Daniel Solis still in P4 for the AMS. First overall, I believe that is, because we still need to see what Ben Munro can do. Ben Munro has done a lap, but it's not been counted, and once they gave him Greness of 41.2, nearly a second faster than everyone else. That is a very quick lap, so we'll have to keep an eye out and see where he keeps that going in the race. Ben Munro struggling in the Porsche. This is not going to be a fast lap, I don't think. From what I can see, he's just got a bit of understeer in the Porsche. I think he needs to change the setup a little bit. So he can get another one in, though. Most of these drivers now finishing their quali, but Ben Munro is going to continue. 44.7, so he's now finally got one on the board. But he needs to find at least a second if he's going to beat Brian Bond in the Bentley. Sorry, just clearing my throat there, ladies and gentlemen, while I was slowly dying. It's just typical when I'm about to go on holiday. I get this. It is always the way. So yeah, around to turn number 7. He is not improving too much on this lap, so maybe he made a mistake in the middle sector. He's got a bit too deep there. He was up a 10th. The moment, Ross Brown, and he's gone wide, and that is it. That is it for Ben Munro. Unfortunately, he is not going to improve. So, is Ross Brown able to pull further away from Brian? And maybe, in fact, he's done exactly the same time. Exactly the same time. I didn't notice this until now, as Daniel Solis. So, that is game set for these guys. Exactly at the same time. It then means whoever did it first gets the preferential treatment on the grid. And that was Daniel Solis. So can Ross Brown find even a 1,000th of a second to nip ahead of the other AM driver? He has found some time. Don't think it's going to be enough. Now he's lost it. Just coming on. He got too much on the curb on the exit. And unfortunately he has lost the time. But he's just started to gain it back. Maybe he lost a bit through the final corner. Yeah, and he decides, nope, that's enough. So, that's it for you guys. Well done to David Greness in pole position for the wildcards. And Daniel Solis does pip the AM drivers the pole position. So, great work from Daniel Solis. And like I said, we don't have a Chris Wilson or Phil Mitchell. Daniel Zlatnik or Cappy made at all this week. They are done for the season. So there we go. Right, let's see how the Silvers and the Pros get on. If I can find my mouse. There we go. So across the line, Matt Whitburn. Now, I call this the Rainbow Puke car from RTO, but there was a little story that came out last week, and I didn't realise this, but this is the colours that his daughter picked for him last to race with in the Honda. So racing for his daughter at the top of the title. Maybe he needs to do it more often. Doing an absolute sterling job for the RTO team at the top of the tables. So, but this man looking mighty quick so far in the Bentley. Not sure he's going to be quick enough, but Bentley it's an interesting car. I mean, anyone who watches my streams know that I tend to run the Bentley now. Again, it used to be my main back in 1.7. And yeah, I was fairly happy with the car. It was pretty quick, and now I've got it back, and I was racing it in the Williams League. It was fairly competitive, not as quick as the Beamers and everyone ahead of me, but with a bit of practice, I know I could be close. But it is, I mean, I still think it's one of the best sounding cars in the game. I don't know about you guys. So as he comes through the chicane, round to turn number 12, 14 corners this circuit. Give you a bit of an oversight. Zandvoort opened on the 7th of August 1948. Current track length is 4.25 kilometers, 14 turns, 10 to the right, 4 to the left. So it's definitely a front left limited circuit. The person who designed the original layout was the 1927 Le Mans winner, Sammy Davis, who designed the track. And this track hosts Formula 1, DTM, and the ADAC GT Masters. This is what mainly races here at the moment. So Matt Whitman does pop it into pole so far. 40.8, just ahead of Dan Watts, as you can see. So it'll be interesting to see if they stick with those ones. Paul Sadlowski, normally running 0 TC, is definitely not doing that this week, I can assure you. We were talking about it before the quali and practice started. Found a good TC to run. But did turn off the TC and have a lap, and he wasn't too far off of his fastest lap, so it was quite interesting to see what he does during the race, if he's going to decide to have some fun or not. Ben Nergaard a little bit further back on his first lap, but wait for that to go down. Found quite a bit of time in practice, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to take pole position. I'll tell you who has taken pole position. Sigurd Resvik, 40.755, just over a tenth from Matt Whitburn. Dan Watts a bit further back, another tenth. They got Liam Page in the Bentley, but David Grenache showing you how strong that time really is for Fear Nothing Moto in the wildcards. P5, done a great job. So around turn number 8 up to turn number 9. This is a really technical part of the track. You can take a couple of different lines into here. You can go a bit wider and cut it in a bit early and get a better exit. Not sure that works so well in the wet conditions though. So but Matt Whitburn at the moment is only 400ths behind. He's just done a fastest lap for himself, but he's 400ths back from Resvik, and he's actually on a better lap, and that's enough for Refs. Refs is thinking, actually, I'm going to make a change. Maybe tyre pressures aren't quite where he wants them to be. Dan Watts crosses the line as well, and did do his fastest lap. So the top 3 within, in fact, the top 4 within 0.2 of a second. So Paul Zadlowski also improved on that lap. So the laps are coming down. Ben Nergard on a better lap this lap. Paul Whitburn for the Silvers. Let's have a look and see who is the Silvers at the moment. Tom Solis leading the way in the McLaren. Just over a second off the lead. The lead time at 41.822. But again, not too far away is Paul Whitburn. He is 0.4 of a second. So if he can find a bit of pace in the next couple of laps, he'll close that gap, put the pressure on Tom. And yeah, we'll see how he goes. Aiden Carter struggling out there at the moment in the Onid car. A 149.257. Looks like he's in a bit of traffic at the moment, but although he's now behind Paul Sadlowski, so Paul being P4, maybe he's going to try and use him and get a bit of a decent lap in. I think this is, from what my timing screens are saying, this is his first flying lap, but it looks like he might have binned it, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. Don't think he has. I think this is actually going to be his first official timed lap. So see how he goes around the final corner. Oh, running it really wide over the curb. Crosses the line. And nope, that is not his first lap. So there you go. So this will be his first flying lap. We've got Marcel Snaithman in the Audi. Not enjoying the Audi this season. He's still racing really, really well in it, but not enjoyed it at all. So next season you will see him in the Ferrari in these colours. So really looking forward to seeing the RTO finally on the Ferrari 296. So Dreambound doing a farewell tour to the Audi, the Udi. Matt Whitburn just crossed the line and went even faster, guys, but only 0.05 of a second quicker than Sigurd Resvik, the Rain King. Sigurd Resvik still trying to find some extra time. He comes through the turn number 1. I tell you, Matt is on another quicker lap. He's actually going to make, at the moment, he's up 2/10. So we'll see if he can really drive the pole position home. They should both get another lap in after this as well. So it's all about who can find the right amount of time. Dan Watts is also improving on this lap. These 3 RTO boys, it's going to be extremely tight. I'm going to predict, ladies and gentlemen, these will be within a 10th. The top 3 will be within a 10th of each other if this continues like I think it is here. Round the final corner, Matt comes across the line. He is going to improve, but he has lost a bit of time. So it's going to be the final lap that's going to make a difference. He does cross the line and go a couple of tenths further down the road. But it'd be interesting to see how Dan and Refs get on. So Refs is on the middle part of the lap. Dan is just crossing the line now. So he will start his final lap now as well. He does pit Refs to P2. He is only 0.15 of a second down the road. Tom Sol is still holding on from Christoph Holzer, who's now got a good lap in. They are just over a 10th between them as well. So keep an eye on what Christoph Holzer can pull out on his final lap. He's going to probably, yeah, he will cross the line and get another one. He's not up on this one, but neither is Tom, so it'd be interesting to see. Paul Whitburn is up on this lap, though. This could improve him and put him right up to the front of the boys, if he can continue it. He's only halfway through the lap. I think this will be his final lap, and he has in close proximity to him Ben Nergard, who I thought was going to have a much better quali. It looked a lot quicker in the practice. Maybe there's a little bit more dampness out there, but you never know. Dan has decided to go off the track and kill this lap, so that lap's done. So my 0.2 of a second prediction has been faltered. Thanks for that, Dan. Glad I didn't put money on it. But Matt is also stamping his authority, because this is going to be another solid lap. If he finishes this lap where he is now, this will be pro pace, guys. I'm telling you, this is seriously quick if he can finish this lap with the pace that I think he's going to have. He lost a bit of time coming out the final corner last time. Is he going to manage to keep it this time? He ran a bit wide on the exit and on the entrance as well. He does finish 2/10 up, so it's not far. Oh no, 3/10 up. There you go. Bang. 40.2. It was for a 40.1 or a 40 point flat that he had in there, but it's changed to a 40.2. That's still half a second to Dan Watts and Sigurd Resvik. That is incredible pace from Matt Whitburn. Tom Solis is going to cross the line. He is still on the best lap. He's not on a faster lap this time. Christoph Holzer isn't either. So it'll be interesting to see. Paul Whitburn did move up. That's a good qualifying from Paul Whitburn. Great job. P3 in class. Ike Choose, don't forget, is the wild card. Christoph Holzer across the line. Tom Solis does not improve. Christoph Holzer can potentially take pole position here if he has a good final sector. Last man on the track. Last one to cross the line usually gets the best track condition. So is it going to be enough for the German driver to take the pole position, sorry, in silvers? He's just come out of the final corner now. I don't think he's up enough. He's not up a 10th. He needs to be up a 10th, and he's not showing me up a 10th yet. It may be a faster lap, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Crosses the line, and no, he doesn't improve, so he stays in P2. But great qualifying from these guys at the start of this session. So as you can see, bear with me one second because you can't. There you go. Matt Whitburn from Dan Watts in the pros. Then you've got Tom Solis from Christoph Holzer and Dan Solis, the twin brother of Tom. The twins doing an absolute great job in pole position of their classes, from Russ Brown, who did the exact same time as Dan Solis. So looking forward to seeing. There we go. Watch out for the curbs on exit and remember to brake early. Never has a truer word been said. All right, let me Okay, so let's go through the grid walk. So you've got on pole position Matt Whitburn from RTO Esports with the very brightly coloured car. Alongside him is Dan Watts, for half a second back in qualifying. Is that going to be representative in the race? Row 2 is Sigurd Resvik in the other BMW, and alongside him is Paul Sadlowski in the Mustang for RTO. So it's an RTO front 2 rows lockout. Then the first of the SOP drivers, Liam Page in the Bentley, alongside him from Fear Nothing Moto, David Graness in the Honda, the 230 Honda, and then his teammate further back, Timothy Judabao for Fear Nothing Moto, alongside the RTO driver of Ben Nergard. Tom Solis is on P9, and alongside him will be Christoph Holzer. This is the first of the silvers. So watch out for this battle, because those two are the ones top fighting for the championship. So Tom's got the lead for the 2 races ahead. Paul Whitburn for silvers is going to be perfect position 3 and P3 to see what falls out of the chaos that may happen ahead of him. Ike Choose for the wildcards in P12. Dreambound for RTO Racing in the silvers is P13. Alongside him is Rasmus Abelstedt from Sweden in the number 34 Fear Nothing Moto boat BMW. Then the other SOP car, the Aston Martin of James Rawlins, the number 93. And alongside him, Own It of number 43, the BMW. Strange, that's not where Aiden would have expected to be. So watch the fight back from Aiden as he moves through the grid. Paul Cook for the wildcards alongside Daniel Solis in the in the pole position for the AMS. Did exactly the same time, as I mentioned, as this man, Russ Brown, in the other Aston. He's got the Ipswich badges on the back, so if you're a football fan, that's his team. If you're an Ipswich fan, and make sure you support him through this race. His good friend Brian Bond in the other Bentley, and rounding off the final parts of the grid is Ben Munro in the Porsche. So we will get ready to go in about 35 seconds. So we're just going to get you to the helicam so you can see what's going on. We normally sit and watch from above because it's a little bit more easier to see everything that goes on. We do have the stewards in the box ready for any incidents, which I'm really hoping will not occur. It is such a tight, twisty track. If you have an accident near the front, it involves the entire rest of the grid. So the further up the incident happens, the more chaos it can cause, and in the wet, it makes it even more difficult. So there we go. If only LMU players took note of that. I know, right? Could be good. I'm just going to have a swig of a drink while the guys pull around. 25-minute race number 1, followed by a 5-minute break, and then a 25-minute race number 2 is coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back, get ready for this. It's going to be absolutely magical. If you're wondering if it is Linksy on comms, it is. It's not his twin brother of deeper voice. It's me, I promise. So apologies if I do sound a bit weird. Yeah, feeling a bit under the weather today. So anyway, the 2x2, it's green, green, green. The final 2 rounds are underway. The Honda gets a really good start, and Dan Watts alongside him. Revsvik got a good start as well. The Mustang didn't get much traction on the start, but he's looking to go round the outside, true RTO style, trying to get a bit more traction. The go-karting line on the outside, alongside Sigurd Resvik, gets on the curb and then is slowed down by the gravel. Further back, it looks like everyone so far has got through unscathed. We'll see how that falls out. Tom Solis has just been caught by, it looks like the Fear Nothing Moto, although that looks like, I tell you what, he has not had the best start, because Paul Whitburn and Christoph Holzer have both got ahead of him in the silver class. So keep an eye to see if Tom Solis can fight his way back through. Resvik is still P3 at the moment. Matt Whitburn leading the guys away. Liam Page has managed to get through. I think he may have gone off the track slightly, but he's now up into P5, so it's a good result so far for him. Let's have a look and see. Bear with me 1 second. Let's have a look so you can see position delta. There you go. So you can see the movers and shakers at the start of the race. The top 8 stayed exactly where they were, and then the guys from below have moved forward. Christoph Holzer up a place. Matt Whitburn stayed where he was. Ike Choose has moved forward, and Tom Solis has dropped down 3 places on that start. So maybe got caught out on a bad line through the first corner and then lost a few places. So through the first lap, I think we have managed to make it pretty clean. Oh no, no. I think we've just got our first incident of the race. I think we're going to see a very late braking Bentley. Oh yeah, that is not good. And I think, am I right in thinking that that is Tom Solis? Or was it Daniel Solis? It might have been Daniel Solis. It is Daniel Solis, who has just taken an absolute whack. And he is now down into P3 in the AMS. That is not good. I mean, he just needs a good result today. He needs to beat Ben Munro if he's got any chance of winning the AMS. And now Ben Munro is up into P1 in the AMS. After that poor qualifying, he now has Dreambound, who's also dropped down the race at the moment as well. He's dropped down all the way down to P17 and has lost 4 places, as you can see on the timing board to your left. So yeah, that is not what he wanted to do at all. So let's bring you the race gap so you can try and see who is where and what the gaps are. Refs has dropped a bit further back from Dan Watts. Dan Watts has been dropped by this man, Matt Whitburn, at the front of the grid. He is absolutely romping away in the Honda. The Honda looking really, really good again in ACC in the hands of Matt Whitburn. Looking back at the fellow RTO drivers, Linus Stern first, second, third and fourth, until you get to Liam Page, who is the next driver on the track for SOP in the Bentley, and he's being chased down by the 2 Fear Nothing Motor guys. One, David Graness in the Honda, and Timothy Judabout in the McLaren for the Fear Nothing Motor team. And then Ben Nergard is all over the back of them, trying to make his way through and see if he can fight his way through the grid. Everyone's behaving themselves nicely, apart from the AMS at the back. I think Brian just maybe forgot where he was. He definitely moved out, tried to move, but unfortunately it wasn't going to stop. It wasn't dry weather, so yeah, it wasn't going to stop. Everyone moving over to try and dry their tyres. Is it still raining out there? I think it is. Yes, you can just see on the track that it is still raining. So not quite sure why everyone's trying to dry make their tyres last at the moment. That's very strange. Sorry guys, I'm trying to drink. They are definitely all hunting for the wet part of the track down the main straight. You're looking at them all running along the pit wall, trying to cool those tyres down, trying to bring those temperatures to where they need to be, the pressure's under control. And it looks like I said, Liam Page is still hunting down Paul Sadlowski, but Paul Whitburn is trying to make a move further forward as well, on the back of I2s for the wildcards. And Paul Whitburn of the silver class. Been a very good race so far, much better than the last couple of races. So let's just hope he can have a good finish and a good strong result to season number 8. Racing really well. Had a couple of really good moves in the Williams Gaming Club on Monday, but unfortunately then contact ensued and put Matt off into a wall, and that was race and season over. So looking to have a much better race here. But as we said earlier, Aidan Carter is slowly closing the gap. He's up half a second on his current lap, which is going to make him about half a second quicker than Paul Whitburn on this lap as well. So Aidan looking to see how far he can get forward, and it looks like Tom Solis in the Ferrari haven't managed to go along with him, so he's not going to arrive on the back of Paul Whitburn anytime soon either. So unless these two start fighting, which I'm sure Tom is hoping, it's going to be a bit more difficult for him to catch up with Christoph Holzer, who at the moment is on a very good lap. These lap times are getting quicker and quicker and quicker every single lap. In fact, they're actually nearly quicker now in the race trim than they were in quali pace. You can see, look, everyone moving over, well, apart from the silvers, over to the wet line on the pit wall. That helps cool the tyres off, bring the temperatures down, bring the pressures back under control for another lap. Because it's so fast and it is so twisty here, the tyres do get a lot of energy put through them, which obviously then creates heat, and that in turn creates pressure, and which also then creates wear on the tyres. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys manage that for the next 15 minutes, and then another race in the same conditions. So and there's really only one line through sector 1. There's not really where you can go offline and start cooling your tyres, because you'll just be slow, because you've got a lot of fast corners coming up, and they're just one after the other. It's such a busy track. So yeah, let's catch up with some of the drivers towards the back. Ben Monroe for the AMS still leading from Russ Brown. Daniel Solis with the damage that he had from the collision from Brian Bond, who is also behind him again, but now a lap down, is a little bit further back. There's 9.6 seconds of a gap between him and Russ Brown. So unless Russ can do anything about Ben, and maybe these two start fighting, that's the only thing that's going to help Daniel Solis. But Russ is looking really handy in that Aston in these conditions around Zandvoort, so don't scratch him out for a good win in the AMS. Rasmus Abelstead all over the back of Paul Cook for Fear Nothing Moto. Silver on wildcard. Paul Cook doing a really good job. James Rawlins though struggling in the other Aston. Very surprised to see James Rawlins not enjoying these conditions. Normally a very good racer in wet conditions. Maybe it's the track and car combo that's not helping him out, I don't know. But look at that, it's very wide. I mean, that's just making up a new track there, James. Come on, keep it on the tarmac, my friend. But again, all hunting for that nice wet line. They're all dipping their wheels in the wet to try and keep them nice and cool. And the gap at the front, 2.3 seconds at the moment. Greness over the back. Now Greness has actually caught Liam Page, so Paul Sadlowski is pulling away lap on lap from Liam Page in the Bentley. The Bentley's starting to struggle. You'd think the boat would be good in these conditions, but not doing the job. You can see very sideways coming out of the final corner. Through the chicane, both cars taking the curve very well there. So you see Greness looking for the wet line on the left hand side of the track, trying to find some good traction, trying to sometimes if you so how it works in the wet conditions, if you're new to racing and or wondering why you see, oh, and that is a very, I mean, that's not the line you want, but when you see real racing, so you see Formula 1, you see DTM, you see the SRO, the GTs, all racing in the wet conditions, and you suddenly start seeing them go on places that in the dry they wouldn't normally go. The reason for that is, one, when you've been on the racing line, you smooth off that tarmac, okay? So it smooths the tarmac off, and it also makes it have a lot of rubber, okay? In the wet conditions, that makes it very, very slippery. The wet tires don't have anything to get purchase on, and they don't have any grip, okay? So what you do is you run off on the dirty line, the non-racing line, and what that does is where the racing, it's not the racing line, the tarmac isn't compressed and it's not made nice and smooth, and you have all the dirt and discarded rubber and everything else from on the track, and that gives you grip. So that's why you see a lot of people doing really strange lines. Max Verstappen really emphasizes this when he races in the wet. He really will do completely different lines to a lot of other drivers and find that grip to be a little bit quicker than everybody else. If you watch the Silverstone race a couple of weeks back, you'll see what I meant at the start of the race. Both him and Lewis were doing different lines, karting lines at points, to find grip to make them a little bit quicker when the rain started. And they were on slick tyres then as well, so it shows you the advantage that can be given if you do manage to find that extra little bit of grip. But I think the Honda is looking a little bit more planted at the moment than the Bentley. So I think Liam's starting to struggle at the moment. He's got very, very tail happy Bentley at the moment. Maybe soften those rear bump stops, Liam. That might help you in race number 2. He didn't go across the grass this time, didn't do the iRacing trick of trying to bring his tyre pressures down. Doesn't work in ACC. But yeah, alright, anyway, this is something we need to see. Dan Watts and Sigurd Resvik, these two are joined at the hip in most races. And it now seems that they are trying to continue that trend. In race number 1, 11 minutes and 11 seconds to go it was when I said it. And yeah, who's telling me to wake up? Somebody's telling me to wake up. Oh, 10-second penalty for Brian Bond. For causing a collision at the start of the race. So yeah, 10-second penalty handed to Brian Bond for that first lap incident. So that's, I mean, he's already had to pit from that and the damage that was created to Daniel Solis. So yeah, but I tell you now, Sigurd Resvik looking really racy as we look from the splitter of Resvik BMW. Dan can't get the power. You can see Dan swirling on the exit of the corner, and both these guys looking for the wet line, try and cool these tyres down and the pressures, hopping over the curb. Then you want to stay off this one on the inside because it puts you wide. You can see that the BMW that we're on board with just has better traction at the moment as we go through some of these corners. See how it is as they come off the curb. It's short shifting to try and up the power, feathering that throttle, gets the power down, runs it onto the curb on the exit. Now you'll see them running over to the inside, the whiter line, to try and cool these tyres down once more. Okay, so yeah, refs didn't get a much better exit, but he still got a better exit than Dan did ahead of him. So yeah, struggling. Dan's struggling with a bit of front end understeer and then on throttle oversteer. So the balance of that green RTO BMW just not how he would want it. Refs soaring at the wheel there, trying to keep the car under control on the exit of Hugenholzbocht. I think that's what it's called. It sounds better when you've got a cold. I can get closer to the pronunciation, I think. So yeah, another scrap though. At the moment, these guys are still at it. So this is for the lead in the AMS. Russ Brown all over the back of Ben Munro. Struggled a bit in quali, but Russ Brown being very consistent in the race and looking really, really racy in the Aston Martin. As you can see, the Ipswich banners on the badges, on the back of the Aston on the corners. Look, there you go. And looking to see if he can make a move on Ben Munro, but he won't do anything silly, he won't do anything crazy. Russ is a very, very clean and careful driver. On the other side of the circuit, you can just see Liam Page still being chased down by David Grenes in the Fear Nothing Motor Honda. But those positions have stayed where they were. Resvik's 0.8 back, just dropped a little bit off of Dan Watts on this lap so far. He's lost a couple of tenths. No gazebo though. on turn number 8. This is such a clumsy corner. You can see there the Porsche just not gripping on the front there, just really running wide. The Aston just looks like you can place it. It looks really good, that Aston. Russ is driving so well. As we jump on board, you can hear the Aston V8. Driving nice and smooth. Around the final 2 corners. Porsche's looking a little bit more squirrely through the final 2 corners. I think the Aston's definitely got the pace on that Porsche. Maybe just needs to try and make him think he's going to make a move, try and force him into a mistake. 7 minutes to go, takes a different line for the Porsche, maybe like a double apex. Slight short shift on the exit. He's got such better traction on exit as well. I mean, the Aston is such a good car. It really, really is. Keeping an eye on some of these, I tell you now, refs is actually all over the back of Dan again, so we might have to just quickly cut to that, see how it's going down the main straight. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? I don't think he's close enough, he isn't, so yep. As you were, probably for another lap now, because it's literally only that straight is the only viable overtaking place unless they make a mistake ahead of you. And although Dan doesn't have the car under him, it's very rare that he makes a big enough mistake that will let a beamer-size hole in one of the other corners that Sigurd Refsvik can send the RTO blue beamer this time round. Refs used to run the yellow on his car, but that has now been transferred to this man, Paul Sadlowski, in the Mustang. I do apologise, guys. I'm really suffering right now. I'm not sure I'm going to get through all these races. Oh dear. Ben Nergard is still chasing down Timothy Udebal in the McLaren for Fear Nothing Moto as well. Oh, that was looking a bit sideways as well as he threw it into turn number 7. Into Renault. Out of turn number 9. Oh, the McLaren getting a little bit over on the curbs then, losing the rear end. So we'll come back to that in a second because these two are very close to the final corner again. Oh, refs made I think maybe made a little mistake on the way in. Yeah, that's put him really wide on the exit. He's lost time there, definitely 100%. 0.5 is the gap at the moment, so we'll come back and catch that at the end of this straight. Is he going to make a move into turn number 1? I don't think he's close enough. No, he's not once again. A little bit of a frustration around here. It really does mean that you have to race differently. You have to try and put the guy under pressure ahead of you to make them make a mistake. Don't just send it up the inside. It's going to end in tears. But if you can really push the guy to a mistake, the other driver, then you've got a really good chance. Paul Wilburn looking to go up the inside. I might choose. That was very, very close. Nearly had a move there. I closing the door on the end of the pit straight and say no thank you. I want to keep P10, thank you very much. We have lost one driver from this race. Who is that one driver? I think we've lost Aiden Carter. We have lost Aiden Carter. What has happened to Aiden Carter? I think he has disconnected somewhere. I'm not sure what's gone on. Oh, that's very sideways from the Porsche this time, and Paul is going to look on the outside of turn number 8. That's going to be really, really difficult to go around the outside, but then he's going to have the inside for turn number 9. And finally, Paul gets the job done, and now can he scamper down the road? He's got 3 minutes, 2, maybe 3 laps, depending on where the leaders are. They're about to cross the line in about 10 seconds, so I think you're only going to have 2 laps left So he's maybe a lap or two late on getting that move done to go after Christoph Holzer ahead of him. But Ike hasn't given this one up just yet. He's still all over the back of the McLaren. Oh, and now is there contact from Ben Munro and Russ Brown? Let's have a look at this. I just saw something flash up on my screen because Russ Brown is now ahead of Ben Munro. So let's see what happens here as they drop down the hill into turn number 6. Shervlak into turn number 7. Marlborough, does he run wide on the track? No, he doesn't. Something goes wrong, very wrong here though. Oh, he gets very sideways, goes off the track. And yeah, there we go. All very sideways. And Russ did really well to avoid hitting Ben Munro sideways in the corner there. So that was an awesome bit of driving from Russ. Now he's up into the lead. Is he going to win his first ever RTO race in the Aston Martin in his first proper season with us? Let's hope so, Russell. Come on, get it done, sir. Ben is going to be coming at you in race number 2, though, so definitely see what's going to finish there. Paul Sadlowski, I tell you, Refs has made a mistake somewhere. Refs has made a massive mistake. He's lost 2.1 seconds on that last lap. So Refs made a huge mistake. He's also 5/10 down on this lap. So he needs to make sure he picks the pace up. Otherwise, Paul Sadlowski is going to be all over the back of him as well. Drivers really seeming to be struggling with this weather. I think it's definitely thrown them off a bit in racing conditions. You saw how close it was in quali, but in the race conditions, it seems to be a little bit, really a little bit all over the place. So final lap now. We're gonna have to cut to him because Matt has done an absolute sterling job. And he comes through turn number 3. Hugenboltz up over the crest, down through turn number 4. Absolute sterling job from Matt. Been so dominant in RTO this season. Been awesome to watch him racing and being very much at the front of the grid. Had some good battles with a couple of other drivers, including his own teammates throughout the season. But so far, so good. This will basically wrap the title up for Matt if he wins this race. And so that will be the pros done. And I believe if Christoph Holzer does hold on to this, it's going to take something absolutely massive. And Tom Solis was on a yellow flag then, so I think he'd gone off the track and continued. But it's going to take something absolutely crazy from Holzer to not... all he needs to do is finish the race, from what I understand. And he will be crowned silver champion. So yeah, interesting to see what happens in the next race. If he had a disconnect or something like that, that could cause hell. So yeah, Rasmus Abelstead all over the back of Paul Cook now, and maybe looking up the inside. No, he's decided I won't be doing that, but crossing the line, the leader, which is Matt Whitburn, going for a full-on slide, doesn't quite get the car to do a spin, but manages to get the P1. Then down Watts from Sigurd Resvik, from Paul Sadlowski, RTO 1, 2, 3, 4. Ref's not liking the BMW, decides to put it in a wall. Liam Page for SOP. You got to use that car again, refs, you know that, right? In P5, David Greness really sending it into the gravel as well. His teammate Jude Bow doing the sensible thing and going on the inside. Still managed to hold off Ben Nergard from Christoph Holzer, who manages to get the silver win. Paul Whitburn P2. Great job from Paul in that first race. But this man, Russ Brown, going to cross the line in a couple of corners. Still got Ben all over the back of him, so he doesn't want to make a mistake in these last 2 corners, but driven so well in race number 1. And he goes around the final corner, and it's going to be a win in RTO for Russ Brown. Badger Racing with Ipswich badges on the back of the car. Great work from Russ Brown. Awesome racing. And Ben Munro P2, and I think that cements him at the forefront at the moment, as Dan Solis unfortunately finishing P3. But the one good thing that did is it didn't allow Ben to gain maximum points, so it'll be interesting to see how they go in race number 2. What I will do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to leave you guys with the practice session because I do need to go and get a drink and just sort of freshen up a little bit before we start race number 2. There is a 5-minute break, so go and do the same yourselves. Go get yourself some drinks. Go get yourself settled in, ready for race number 2. We've got to do it all over again. Who thought this was a good idea when you're ill? So yeah, once it kicks over in about sort of 10 seconds time, we'll get you guys ready for the next race. It will go to a practice session first, so we'll see how that goes. In fact, I'll tell you what I might do. Yeah, we'll do that, I think. It will switch over in just a second, guys, I promise. Anyway.
Give it all you can.
Alright, so practice is underway. I will just be back in a couple of minutes' time, guys. All right, so once the drivers finish off these little practice laps, we will get you guys back to the action. So, yeah, season number 8 started off at the Nordschleife, was a hell of a race. 1 hour long, the guys had on June 13th. Then we went to the Red Bull Ring for the first of the 2 25-minute sprints on the June 20th. Then they had their first rain race, which was at Imola for the 60-minute race that we had there. Then on to a very, very warm Laguna Seca. Tyres were very hot at that place. And on July 11th, a couple of weeks break from Imola, that was. And then we went to Barcelona, where we had it going into the dusk conditions. And then we've moved on to the final round, which is now Zandvoort. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how these guys get on in the final race of the season. So, let's go back over and remind you guys.
We have some slippery curves and also watch out for your braking distance.
There you go. As he said, watch out for the braking distances. There we go. Right, so, as you can see, we have Matt Whitburn back on pole position. Alongside him is Daniel Watts. Or Dan Watts, shall I say. There we go. And Daniel. Yes, Daniel Watts. And, yeah, so alongside him is Dan Watts. And then Refsvik is on row number 3. Alongside him is Paul Sadlowski in the Ford Mustang. And then you've got Liam Page in the Bentley for SOP. Looking to see if he can get a better result on this one. He needs to soften those rear anti-roll bars if he can. And drop the rebounds down as well. So it squats down. David Graness for Finn Motor Honda alongside him. Then his teammate Timothy Judabau alongside Ben Nergard of the Final Pros in the RTO Pro League, for RTO in the red BMW. Tom Solis, the number 92 Ferrari, looking for a much better result here alongside Paul Whitburn. P2 last race, can he continue that in race number 1? Ike 2's held up. Paul did a great job in race number 1. Can he get ahead of the guys again and see if he can do the same and finish in that top 10 this time? Dreambound in P12, looking for a much better result ahead of Rasmus Abelstedt for Sweden in the Fear Nothing Moto BMW. Then we got James Rawlins for SOP. Again, didn't have the pace I thought he would in race number 1. See if he can move forward alongside Paul the Cook in the Ferrari. Then Daniel Solis looking to have a much better result. Hopefully doesn't have any damage on that McLaren in race number 2. But Russ Brown winning that first race for the AMS was a great result. So see if he can move forward and do the same again. Brian Bond in the Bentley looking for a much cleaner and race in race number 2. Is ahead of Ben Munro, who narrowly missed out on winning the race in that first installment that we gave you. We've got about 50 seconds to go. So, yeah, as always, just to let you know, the seasons are still going to be coming. They're going to be, we're going to have a little season between the GTs coming up towards the end of August. So keep an eye out in the Discord for that if you want to get involved. You want to get involved in the RTO thing, in the RTO League, in the thing. That was great. That was good, wasn't it? Then you need to join us on SimGrid, and we can get you guys involved with us. I'll ask the race steward to put that in the chat after race lap number 1. 10 seconds to go, and then we can get this race ready to go. Not sure if my voice is going to last, but we'll give it a go. Here. And Christoph Holzer has just popped up at the back of the grid. What's gone on there? Alright, cleared the throat. I'm hoping this is going to work. Alright, so let's see what's going to happen this time. So, Matt Whitburn got a perfect start alongside Dan Watts in race number 1. Is Dan going to play fair in race number 2, or is he going to try and take it round the outside to try and get the lead from the Honda driver? We're about to go green on the final race. There we go, green, green, green. And let's see who manages to make moves. Fear Nothing Moto is going for a 3 wide into turn 1. Not sure that's a good idea, and he does think better of it. And Dan doesn't manage to do anything on the outside. Pauls was trying to go around the outside of his teammate Resfit, but doesn't happen. There's a bit of contact on the bit back for David Grenes, but they're all fine, making their way through. There's some losers, there's some shakers. So we'll keep an eye on seeing where those guys drop. Let's give you the position delta so you can see at the moment who's dropping places and who's gaining. Again, the top 8 stay exactly as they are. Funny, that's the pros. The top 8 stay exactly where they are. No think there's better of it. Well, see what we can do. Tom Solis has dropped down a place, and Paul Whitburn for RTO is now leading in the silvers. Had good pace in race number 1, was held up. So let's see what he can do against Tom Solis in race number 1. Tom Solis needs a win here to have any chance of winning the silver title. So Christoph Holzer doing a great job in race number 1, but he's dropped to the back of the grid. He's now moved up 2 places, and he's looking to go around Ben Monroe and the other Porsche as they go through turn number 8 up into turn number 9. And Ben's going to send, oh no, that's back into Daniel Solis, and they both collide. That is not good. Ben Monroe is going to wait though, because he knows if he doesn't, he's going to end up getting an absolute monster of a penalty. Yeah, that is that was just clumsy there. They outbraked himself, didn't realise what was going on, and yeah, clumped into the back of Daniel. Very unlike Mr. Monroe, very, very clean racer, and yeah, so I'm sure he's kicking himself for that one. Not done on purpose at all, just making a bit of a mistake, and yeah, causing a collision on lap 1. That's never going to be good. Waiting for the penalties as they come across. Dan still chasing down Matt Whitburn at the front. There is a 0.6 gap, but Sigurd Resvik looking a bit racier in race number 2, although he did have a bit of an understeering moment. The car didn't look very stable as he was coming through turn number 1, and that's made Paul Sadlowski in the Mustang a little bit more hungry for a podium finish in race number 2 and rounding off season 8. Rasmus Abelstead also very, very close to Dreambound, who's had a much better start in race number 2. So keep an eye on Dreambound, seeing if he can make a move and try and get the win from his teammate Paul Whitburn in the other RTO driver in silver class. But I think Tom Solis, who is absolutely rapid in that Ferrari, is thinking, no, I want this win, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I get it. But Paul is driving absolutely brilliantly today this week. This is what we normally come to expect from Mr. Whitburn. Don't forget, father of the leader of the race, Matt Whitburn. This is a father and son team doing a great job for RTO. And if they can finish 1-2, yeah, still don't round off Daniel Solis. He's already on the back of Russ Brown. Daniel is a very, very quick driver, so looking to see if he can move up, because at the moment Brian Bond is leading the AM class. There's your 4 AM drivers in this race at the moment, and he is leading the AM class. There's a bit of a gap, 2.5 back to Christoph Holzer in the Porsche, who's still behind Paul Cook at the moment. Was helped out a little bit by Ben running into the back of Daniel, and yeah, I think he's still got a good chance of having a haul of points here, Mr. Solis. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Judabel P7.3 back. This guy's it's much closer in race number 2, as you can see at the moment. They haven't stretched out like they did in race 1. Everyone's going in groups. There's groups of 3 at the front, then a group of 4, and then another group of 4. So it seems that they've made some changes in that little practice session between races to see if they can find a little bit more pace. And the McLaren getting a bit understeery, going for a drier line, which is like a sort of a double apex through turn number 3, and not making a very good exit there, which has got Ben Nergard sniffing an interest to try and move up in the pro class and get past Mr. Judabel in the McLaren. One thing I've noticed a lot in this season is Judabel and Grenes fighting together a lot. They are very good in equal pace, so it'll be interesting to see if they join us again next season, and seeing where they fight for the season. Solis Bros for the week. Yeah, Jason Tatters, how you doing? Welcome into the stream. Good to see you. Obi John Kenobi, go Solis boys. Absolutely, they're doing a great job. Daniel got taken out in race number 1 and race number 2. He's not had an easy run at the moment, but definitely looking to see if he can manage to move his way back through to the front of the AMs. And I'm sure he's having to defend from Ben Monroe, who's looking a bit more racy in race number 2, to see if he can find his way back to the front, because at the moment Russ Brown, who won the first race, is now back in the lead. So there's been a mistake from Brian Bond in this lap, and he has dropped back behind the Aston Martin driver. Oh, and that's very wide from Ben Munro on the exit of the final turn. And yeah, Brian Bond already looking to cool his tyres down after lap number 2. So yeah, anyway, just have a bit further forward. Christoph Holzer, who's leading the silver class, is now trying to fight his way through. Maybe he dropped to the back of the grid and decided to have some fun in race number 2. Never know. As long as he finishes, I'm pretty sure he's got this season wrapped up. And there has been contact, I believe, from Ben Nergard and Timothy Judabel. We'll have to watch that back. Let's see what happens here. They're side by side, and they do contact each other going through turn number 3. Sorry, turn number 2, and then into turn 3. Ben has got the job done. Rubbing his racing, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't put anyone off the track. And got a much better exit. And, yeah, made the P7 his. Now he can go and chase down David Grenes, Judabel's teammate for Fear Nothing Moto. So let's see how he moves forward and see what his lap times are. He's already he's down 0.6 on his last lap, but don't forget he had to make that overtake. So it'd be interesting to see if Timothy can make anything better of it, and see if he can get further forward and get repassed Ben Nergard, and get after his teammate. Liam Page for SOP, P7 at the moment. Sorry, P5 at the moment, number 7. Now they're starting to change their lines in the first main straight up into the first corner. They're all searching for that cold, wet part of the track. You can, as we look back further down the grid, you can see everyone starting to hunt for that wet line. Definitely isn't as wet as I thought it was going to be this race. The drivers are probably happy about it. Me, not so much. James Rawlin is off the track and in the pits. By the looks of it, that might be his race and season done. So we've lost Aidan Carter of Onid Esports in race number 1. Is James going to manage to get that car repaired and get out on the track again in race number 2? Paul Sadlowski is starting just to drop off the back of the front 3 now. And Ben is starting to get a little bit quicker now. He's up 0.4 on this lap. Oh, I'll tell you what we haven't done. Sorry, guys. You should have shouted at me for this. Race gaps. That's what you want. And just coming through, Ben Munro does have a 10-second penalty for that contact in turn number 9, where he runs into the back. Oh, no. There's a yellow flag for Russ Brown. What has gone on? Russ Brown has lost it. Managed to still keep the lead. Ben Munro goes off the track again. What's going on? Where's... Daniel Solis is up into the lead, though. Daniel Solis is taking the lead in the AMS. What happened here? Let's have a check back and see what's going on. No, that's not who we wanted. I wanted Russ Brown. So Russ Brown comes through the fast left, gets a little bit on the grass, and the back just goes round. Is he going to touch the wall? He does. Luckily, though, the car finds its way back into the correct in the correct direction, and is able to stay ahead of the Bentley and of Ben Munro in the Porsche. Struggling in that Porsche in race number 2, maybe with a bit of front end damage. And that is a very rare mistake from Mr. Brown so far this week. He has been absolutely flawless in race number 1, but Daniel Solis is now in the lead of the AMS. So can Tom find his way past Paul Whitburn and take the lead of the Silvers? He's 1.6 back at this time, so it's not given yet. He needs to find a bit of pace in the Ferrari to match his brother's time, and match his brother's position in class. Over 15 minutes to go, still plenty of time to do that. Just try and force people into mistakes, but Paul Whitburn driving absolutely superbly in this race for the for RTO in the McLaren. It was very pacey in race number 1, but for whatever reason fell down the grid a little bit at the start, and then unfortunately wasn't able to make up the places. It's so difficult to overtake here, it really is. And yeah, just mentioned in my ear there, Christoph Holzer is finding his way through the grid now. He's actually on the back Ike Choose in a lap's time or so with his pace advantage that he does have. He's just got past Paul Cook, who is in the wildcards, and he is now chasing down Ike Choose in the other Porsche. So it's going to be Porsche on Porsche battle, and this is him back up into the silvers once he gets past Choose. So depending on whether Choose wants to fight it or not, because obviously he wants to try and finish ahead of Paul Cook. So he is fighting Paul Cook for position in the wildcards, and yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Although I tell you what, Paul Cook looking a bit quicker in this lap so far. He's looking quick in that Ferrari. Maybe he made a mistake in one of the last laps. In fact, his last lap was his fastest. In fact, most drivers' laps were their fastest. Now the track's drying out a little bit. The racing line's coming to them, so that it's starting to offer them more pace. To give you an idea, Matt Whitburn has now gone faster in race number 2 than his quali time. So that shows you how the dry line is helping these drivers find their times. In fact, everyone at the moment is matching their race times, apart from a couple of, well, about 4 or 5 drivers so far are a bit slower on this lap. The rest of them are pretty much there or thereabouts. So it shows you consistency is there. The only thing with that is that when you get consistent lap times and you got a track that's evolving, it's your job as a driver to find that pace. You can't just keep doing the same thing lap after lap, because everyone else will start finding that pace and just being that 10th or 2 quicker than you every lap. And after 4 or 5 laps, that's a second they've moved down the road before you've had the chance to react to it. And all you'll end up doing is getting to their pace at what it is at the time. So it's very difficult to then close that gap. So you need to be the one on the front foot. You need to be the one trying to find that bit of pace in the lap to gain the time back compared to your competitors in the race. So we'll come back to this one in a little bit. Ike Choose still all over the back of Rasmus Abelstead, and Daniel Solis 7.6 ahead now in the pros. Tom Solis is 5 seconds back. He's made a mistake somewhere from Timothy Judabel. Oh no, wait, where's Whitburn gone? He's left. He's made a mistake. So Paul Whitburn has actually retired from the race. So Tom Solis now inherits the lead for the Silvers. So something's happened to Paul Whitburn, whether he's had a crash or a disconnect. Both the Solis brothers are back in P1 in their respective classes. So another strong showing from the brothers in Team LFI. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one finishes out. David Graness all over the back of Liam Page. We need to keep an eye on this race as we look back from the Bentley. Yeah, we look over the back of the rear wing from the Bentley to the Honda while I gather my throat. Having to feather that throttle coming through that final corner, really having to be careful. Searching for the cold stuff on the pit straight. But the thing is, Liam is not far off the back of Paul Sadlowski either. Paul's dropped off the back of Sigurd Restvik. So this is the battle for the top 4 now. Oh, I tell you what, Granessa got very, very close to having a moment there, up on the curb on the exit of turn 2. And yeah, he's lost a bit of pace in this lap. He's actually 3/10 down. Well, he's lost 3/10 to Liam in this lap so far. Christoph Holzer still all over the back of Ike Choose. We need to keep an eye on that one as well. Here we go. Again, there's one place to overtake. That's down the end of the main straight. Oh no, Paul. So unlucky, mate. You were doing a great job this week, man. Take your hat off. Put your feet up. Watch the rest of the race, buddy. Harsh luck, mate. But doing a great job, man. In race 1 and race 2 in the end there. So unfortunate for you. Hope to see more of it towards the in the next seasons, mate. So Holzer is really struggling. I mean, track position here is king. It's a bit like Monaco, really, for GT cars. this place. Whoever gets pole position, unless there's a massive pace advantage, it's going to be very difficult for you to get past. So it's kind of why I was hoping Dan would get in front of Matt and make them fight, because I think Matt's got the advantage in pace. I don't know whether he's got it down the main straight, but he's definitely got advantage in pace over Dan Watts at the moment. Fastest lap 39.9. Dan's a 40.4. Sorry, 40.3. Sorry. So yeah. And Christoph Holzer not able to make another move there going into turn 1, so he's now stuck once again. See, what I do is when I'm a driver here, I try and make myself an absolute nuisance, and literally just trying to make you, make your move, make yourself a bit of a nuisance, move around in the on the track, make them look backwards rather than forwards, because there's so many corners here. If you make them look in their mirrors, it makes them make a mistake. So but the thing is, being the guy that's defending or the driver defending, you need to make sure that you keep your eyes forward, not worry about what's going on behind you, because otherwise you just end up slowing down, and that causes way more pace problems as well. And I've just noticed that we've had this music going throughout this entire race, and I apologise, I've just noticed that. So I'll stop that now. Apologies, guys. And so you now get to hear all the cars properly. Interesting hand movements there from Mr. Holzer. Okay, I Choose is looking rather tasty at the moment. The hell was that? That sounded like a beeping noise. Oh my word, this is going to be very close. And I think Choose thinks better of it. Yep, he does. Applestead manages to keep P11. This is helping Dreamband out, Marshall Snaithman. He's not under any major issues behind him, so he can go after Tom Solis. And in the last lap, he was 2/10 quicker than Tom Solis, so there's 7 minutes to go. A couple more laps like that puts Dreambound and Marcel Snaithman, the number 59 Audi, just gone through your screen, on the back of the silver leader. So can Marcel do anything about Tom Solis in the closing stages of this lap? These guys having an absolute monumental scrap. Avelstead, Choose, and Holzer. Oh, and that's as I say that, Choose goes really wide. And yeah, as you're going to see, as we come through, the left-hander just doesn't, yeah, he gets a proper slide on, has to correct it, otherwise he's going to be facing the wrong way. Does a great job of gathering it back up, and yeah, keeping himself on the track. Sorry, able to get back on the track, and then see if he can do anything about Holzer in the last couple of laps here. 6.5 minutes to go. Let's go, Tom Sparky, absolutely. They're doing a great job. Him and Daniel both leading their classes, as you can see on the timing screen to your left-hand side, the tower. So, yeah. Also looking to go up the inside as he had a little look on the inside there, but not close enough. And I tell you what, Dreambound once again 3/10 quicker than Tom Solis. So he is doing everything he can to try and chase down the Ferrari driver. But here, as once the great Murray Walker said, catching is one thing, passing is a completely different story, especially at a track like Zandvoort. There's one line through pretty much 90% of the track, and if you go offline to try and overtake, especially in the wet, you're going to find yourself in a world of pain. But you can see there, the Audi looking really planted, but the Ferrari struggling through turn number 6. The long right-hander as it drops down the hill, the Ferrari just looking a little bit not able to be putting it where he wants it. Maybe Tom's trying to push on a bit more than he needs to, overdriving the car. And that's actually losing him time. I told you he's going to be on the back of him, Dreamman, if he keeps up like this. 2/10 further down at the moment. Everyone, I'm thinking the rain must be coming down harder because everyone is slower this lap. Absolutely everybody. The only person that isn't is Matt Whitburn. He's the only person, or now I say that, he's now slower than his best lap. So all the lap times are starting to come back down. And now they've settled, and now they're starting to go up again. So I'm wondering if the rain has just got a bit heavier over the last couple of minutes. And you're seeing some of these times now starting to drop a bit further back than where they were. So to give you an idea, Matt's fastest lap at the lead, 39.9, last lap 40.1, and then Dan Watts a 40.3 on his best lap and a 40.7 on his last one. Refs was 5 thousandths quicker than him. He's not going to catch him like that. Refs needs to find a few tenths a lap, a bit like what Dreambound's doing here. Is he going to be able to make a move in the final couple of laps? He's got a better car. He's going to get better exits. Tom's going to have to just concentrate on his exits out of the final corner and hope to out-drag the Audi into turn number 1. Otherwise, I think it's going to be game, set and match. And Christoph Holzer still all over the back. I mean, literally all over the back of Rasmus Abelstedt. Oops, wrong one. So look over the back of the rear wing of the BMW. Beer Nothing Moto written right there on the wing. Ooh, that was close. Beamer looking nice and planted on the slower corners. The turn-ins, once again, the Porsche, as it usually is, very good on turn-in. Sometimes overly good. So 0.8 is the gap here. And then this is 0.6, well 0.7 now. So very similar gaps between P1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So who's going to finish on the podium? What's the podium going to look like for the Silvers? I think it's pretty much set and match for the top 3. Unless Paul Sadlowski can do it. And he is catching. Refs has made a huge mistake. He has made a massive mistake on lap 1, and I think he's made another one on this lap. Because that's not what I wanted. I wanted that one. Because he has got Paul Sadlowski all over the back of him. He lost 1.3 seconds in this lap so far. And he lost on the last lap 3 seconds. He's lost 5 seconds nearly to Paul Sadlowski in 2 laps. So refs really struggling towards the end of this race again. He did the same in race number 1. So maybe Paul's thinking, I'll have a podium this time. And if these two start fighting, that really opens the door for not only Paul but Liam and David Grenes, who you can see in the background as well. So still plenty racing to go, even though there's only 2 laps to go in this race. Oh, refs has absolutely come a cropper. He's got proper damage on the front of that Beamer. What has happened to refs? I tell you what, let's have a look, shall we? So this is refs coming onto the main straight. Oh, get it proper. Oh my word, that is a proper hit. He lost it on the grass. That's why he was so slow in the last lap and slow in this lap. Because he lost it out of the final corner. And yeah, proper hit in the back. And I tell you what, if he gets a bad exit out of that final corner and Paul Sadlowski is this close to him, I think Paul Sadlowski can out-drag that Beamer to the line. It's not a long run, but that thing is so fast in a straight line. It's going to be who gets the better run out of the final corner and is able to do something about it. Tom Solis still holding off Dreambound for the lead, and Daniel Solis still way ahead, 8.9 seconds ahead. I think that one's game, set, match. Just don't drive the wheels off the car, Daniel. Just drive the car to the end of the race and you've got that one in the bag. But this is the final podium place. It's never ever over in RTO. And in RTO, by the looks of this, who's going to be, I tell you now, Revs will be kicking himself because he makes them. I tell you what, I can count on one hand. I genuinely can count on one hand of the times I've known him to make a mistake like that on his own. Seriously, it's very, very rare that Refs does that. So he will be kicking himself. He's his own worst critic, is Refsvik. He doesn't like it when he makes a mistake, which I like because that means he strives for. Oh no! What has happened here? We're going to miss the leader. I'm sorry, but Matt Whitburn is going to cross the line and win this race. But something has happened between the Honda driver of Grenes and Liam Page, well, it's going to go on here as they come into the right-hander. They come out, I think, no, they're absolutely fine. I think he's going to go for a late lunge. He is, he's on the inside, taps him round, both of them spin, and yeah, there you go. So Liam Page being taken out there a little bit by a bit of a late move. And Matt Whitburn has one from Dan Watts. Who's going to finish here? Sigurd Resvik does hold it, and yep, he really isn't happy with that beer, is he? Ben Nergard, 5th in the end, started P8. That was great work from Ben Nergard. We missed some of the overtakes there. Sorry, Ben. Timothy Judabal. Oh, no, wait. That's because Liam Page and David Grenes came to croppers, didn't they? Liam Page, David Grenes. Tom Solis does win in silvers. Well done. And let's see if we can watch Daniel Solis win again in the AMs. Great work from this guy. Had a really good first full season at RTO. You can hear my voice, it's nearly dead. I do apologise. But yeah, had a really good season, first season. I'm not sure he's done enough to win the title this season, but I'm sure he will be back next season hunting for victory in the AM class. That was great work from Daniel Solis. Brian Bond has a much cleaner race in race number 2. And is going to be fine in P3. Russ Brown, winner of race 1 for the AMs. P2 again, another strong victory. Strong race from him. And Ben Monroe in the background, who's going to win the AM Championship, I believe, coming across the line in P18, 4th in class, and that is it. So, races are complete, rounds are finished, and as you can see here, the season is come to a close, so we'll have to get you the winners to the championship. You bear with me 1 second. I can try and work some of this out, and we'll let you know who's finished where. In fact, I should be able to do this. If you can just bear with me a second, we can bring it up on the channel. Just go in and get yourself another drink, and we'll come back and see who's won what. Obviously, this is all depending on penalties, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final standing. So yeah. So let me see what we can do, and we'll come back to you guys shortly.
Green light, go, go, go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we do have the results, and they are in, shall we say. So let's go and have a look at the Pro Class to start with. And so the winner in Pro Class, well, I think we all guessed it from the start of this race, was Matt Whitburn, having one of the strongest seasons I think I've seen him have in RTO. And I mean, Dan Watts and Sigurd Resvik, no slouches at all. And they have been outdone by their teammate Matt Whitburn, so congrats to Matt Whitburn. Judabal does manage to finish in P4, and Ben Nergard only 13 points behind him, so really good job. And Paul Sadlowski rounding off the top 6. Then we go to the silver class. Christoph Holzer does take victory in silver. Tom Solis just off the top there by 35 points. it literally, if you look at the final results, they're first and third, third and first. They just matched each other's results basically over the race, and that maintained Christoph Holzer's lead. Rasmus Abelstead, though, does manage to finish in P3. James Rawlins with the DNF in race number 2 has then, well, yeah, I think it's DNF, but he finished 6th in P4. Fabian Wenger wasn't able to race with us this week. And Paul Whitburn, having such a good race, could have been P1 in this race, and that would have put him in P4 for the championship, but had a disconnect halfway through, and that is such a shame for Paul. But we'll definitely be coming back stronger next season. And for the AMS, Daniel Solis does win by 1 point. Daniel Solis has taken the win in the AMS by 1 point. That is incredible. Ben Munro is going to be kicking himself for that result. Didn't have the greatest race in race number 2. But unfortunately wasn't able to bring home enough points and managed to take victory that he in the AMS. Don't forget there is also points awarded for fastest lap. I haven't checked to see who that was, but that could have been all the difference. So Dan Solis has managed to win the AM class. Absolute congratulations, Daniel. First time, so we expect to see you in silvers next season, by the way, just to let you know. But that is awesome work, mate. Well done. And Paul Cook manages to win the wildcard entries. This is more for fun. Obviously, halfway through the season, most of these guys joined, apart from Paul Cook himself, who managed to get plenty of good results, podium places. And David Greness, I mean, absolutely wiped up, cleaned up since he joined the wildcards. So it'd be good to see where he can finish it if he joins for a full season next season in one of the proper splits. Nike Chew's doing a great job as well, finishing P2 this week in the Porsche. So really good job for these guys. And so that is basically it from us at RTO. I just want to let you know, if you want to come and join us, all you need to do is head over to SimGrid and literally just type in here RTO League, and then hit the magnifying glass, the search button, and it brings you straight here. All you need to do is then just go to RTO League and then just hit the follow button right here, and then you'll keep an eye out what we're going to be bringing you. We've only moved over to SimGrid in the last 2 seasons. We were over on SGP, so there is more seasons to come. We are working for something at the end of the summer holidays, so enjoy your summer holidays, have some fun, and come back ready to race with us next season. It won't be GT3s. What we're doing, we're going to have a break from GT3s, so season 9 will be later on in the year. But we will be doing something slightly different in the RTO leagues, just to have a bit of fun and put a show on for you guys moving forward. And then, like I say, probably about sort of October time, we'll come back with season number 9. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be the biggest season that we've had in RTO. I promise you, it's going to be more races. There's going to be a lot more drivers, and it's going to be absolute awesome. On track action as always. I have been Linksy. If you haven't already, please go over to Twitch and type in Linksy_RTO. That is me. Find my streams there. Come and join me on the stream and the channel. And don't forget to come and join us on Discord. So if you go to RTO here, you can find our Discord in here as well. You're all welcome to come and join us and catch up with the drivers and myself. If you've got any questions you want to talk to me about, then please feel free to do so. PC Creations has been the sponsor for this stream and for this league. This is a company that creates and designs PCs to your needs, not just buying one off the shelf. You tell us what you want, we actually go and create it for your budget and then bring you what you're actually needing, rather than just spending money on a PC. And it can be either too good or not as good as you require, and it can be just a big waste of money. Thank you so much for for all of your support, Danny. Absolutely worth it, mate. Well done. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us this season. If you haven't already, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, bang the bell, and make sure you catch us on the next stream. And I will leave you in a minute or two with the replay of the highlights from race number 2. And hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as you enjoyed the main race. And I know one person in the chat's going to be, and that is definitely Mr. Daniel Solis. So well done, mate. Absolutely great season from yourself. 1 point, mate. 1 point. So it shows you never, ever give up. Right, I'll leave you with this. Enjoy the rest of your summer holidays, and I'll catch you on the next stream, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.